Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm joined by Mark, aka the FPL General, to reveal his Game Week 10 team. We'll also chat Haaland. Can we sustain 15.4 million's worth of occasional returns in our teams when there are so many premium midfielders outscoring him? And where do Gabriel owners go if the Brazilian is injured? Welcome, Mark. How are you?
I'm very well, Joe. A wee bit hungover. Had a busy weekend. I'm getting old, and I don't do it very often. So struggling on Monday here to just get through the day and get through the FPL stuff. And of course, a red arrow never
No.
helps. Not a big one, but yeah, good to be back for another video. And yeah, a couple more game weeks before another international break. So really would like to get a few green arrows in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, now eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I put that I'm on 927,118th is my rank. Mark, I put 927,118th as his rank. This isn't a mistake. We had genuinely, and this is a first in like a decade's worth of doing these sorts of videos and podcasts, that I've been on with a guest who has exactly the same rank. So as you can see, I've got a green arrow and he's got a red arrow. So whichever way you want to look at it, I've either dragged Mark down to my level or I've achieved greatness by moving up to his level.
Yeah, it's bizarre after what 9 game weeks and very different teams and different game weeks for triple captains and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff that we've ended up in exactly the same place. I think that tells me we're spending too much time together and
Yeah.
maybe less time together we can diverge on rank and points. But yeah, very interesting. Just goes to show you different routes
Yeah.
can very much
Yeah.
end up in the exact same place.
Yeah, we've both got completely different teams. Well, not completely different, but we got very different teams. And yeah, I mean, I played my triple captaincy this week, just 6 points. You played it, in game week 2, got 17 points. But overall, because we both would have captained Haaland both those weeks, it's 11 points difference, which is the difference between, we were talking about it before we went on air, DCL or Chris Wood, Calvert-Lewin or Chris Wood. There you go. Your
Yeah.
11 points is made up instantly in that one decision.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people. Or people are saying that's great. You use your triple captainship and you smashed it. But what's the point having a good triple captaincy score if you own Calvert-Lewin every week and he does absolutely nothing? So
He's
I think this is
boring.
a good point just to mention as well. A lot of people are struggling this season. Obviously, it's a tricky season. It just for reference as an example where we are in the ranks, we're 927k. Just a quick snapshot. That is, we are only 22 points ahead of 2 million. So that's very little.
Ooh.
And then looking at it the other way, we are only 14 points behind the top 500k.
Ooh.
We're 41 points from the top 100k and only 51 points from the top 50k. So just again, always good to remind people that things are very much bunched up. 1 or 2 game weeks and you can absolutely fly or
Yeah.
absolutely die, I
Yeah.
guess, as well.
Yeah. And it's the same old problem. Salah, Haaland, Palmer, Saka, Son. They're just some of them. Brian Mbumo as well. You cannot have them all. It is impossible. I think I looked on live FPL and there was quite a few managers with Haaland and Salah in the top amongst the sort of elite managers, it says, but that there's managers that sort of just got a track record of doing well. But what there isn't many, I think it was 4% of them have Saka, Haaland, and Palmer. That's how tricky it is to have all three of those because you do have to cut corners elsewhere. So yeah, it just proves that we can't have them all, and we will, go up and down. We just have to. We just got to suck it up, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm one of those managers that does have all three, but I've got a red arrow this week, because I have
Because
cut
you've got
those
all
corners.
three.
Yeah, Rogers is in my starting 11.
Yeah.
Not, some people rotate him in and out. They've got Johnson who hasn't done much, and yeah, Flecken in goal, where as some other people have maybe a more expensive goalkeeper like Ederson did well this week, for
Yeah.
example. So yeah, it's swings and roundabouts.
Before we go on, just a reminder, do press that like button, does help us out, and do remember to subscribe to keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts. Also, best wishes to Tracy, who's the partner of Richard in my West Country FPL chat group. She's been unwell recently and she's in hospital today starting treatment, so hope all goes well. All the best to Tracy and Richard there. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a look at your previous game week. So you got a red arrow, 59 points though, still 5 above average, which was 54. Do you want to run through your team, the flops and stars, and general thoughts?
Yeah, I rolled the transfer. First of all, the plan initially was going to be Saka to Son, but then we got some more information about Son unlikely to play. Some more positive news on Saka that he'd been on the grass, so I just left it. There was a lot of temptation to do Saka to Foden, and I decided just to roll the transfer because I was thinking ahead to wanting possibly Mohamed Salah. Myself and yourself been talking about Salah for this game week 10 to 12 period. I thought if I roll the transfer, I can get Salah with two free transfers, which we'll talk about later. So nothing much from my defenders. Rico Lewis got a clean sheet. Flecking, nothing as usual. Trent and Gabriel both with 1 pointers, and now a possible Gabriel injury, which we'll cover as well. Johnson's been disappointing. Owned him for 2 game weeks now, and he might not survive very long. Mbumo, what a player. What an FPL asset. 15 pointer. Well done to anyone who was brave enough to captain him over Erling Haaland. Saka, the patience with him was rewarded with a 9 pointer, great goal. Rogers off before 60, but not really concerned about that long term, just a good cheap enabler. Palmer with 10. Unfortunate there wasn't more, scored
No.
that offside goal. It was
Yeah.
a close one. And then up front, Calvert-Lewin is kind of stinking out the attack. But he might survive because of Southampton next. I feel like I'm going to be saying that every week. Calvert-Lewin, one more week, and yeah, probably more 2 pointers to come. And then on the bench is looking weak. I've got Mikalenko, which is fine, but I've got the Greaves injury, and I've got my 4.5 million dud forward from Wolves as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, overall, I've got two free, so I can patch things up this week.
Okay, so the general thoughts are, before we're coming here, that you're thinking about Salah, and how to get to him. Is your initial thought remove Haaland for him, or are you looking elsewhere?
No, it's actually Haaland was not my initial thought before any games took place in Game Week 9. When I rolled the transfer, I thought to myself, Saka to Salah by downgrading Trent to someone like Eight Nuri. I think I'd have 4.9 million to spend. So that's one option. So I can lose Saka and Trent to get Salah, but I can also lose Haaland to get Salah. And maybe it probably would be Brennan Johnson and Haaland. So to me, that sounds better than losing Trent and Saka. Saka's just so consistent, long-term
Yeah.
option. Trent's not really doing it, but he has Trent, and he's obviously got the same fixtures as Salah. So I would like to have both of them rather than switching one for the other with two free transfers. So yeah, I've been quite wedded to Haaland for quite a long time, even going back into last season as well. I'm very loyal when it comes to captaincy with him. But the more you look at it, it is 15.4 million. And if I do let him go, and if Salah comes in, I've got plenty of captaincy candidates with Salah, Saka, and Palmer. And it's more about what I want to do in other areas of the team. Freeing up the Haaland funds, I can fix my Flecken issue. I can, maybe fix my bench as well before the busy Christmas period, and upgrade Calvert-Lewin as well at some point. So yeah, I'm probably leaning towards losing Haaland, to get Salah in, and then the knock-on
Yeah.
effect is future transfers then are very easy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wedded to getting Salah in this week, and I've been talking about it a lot as well. We talk about it on this show and on my team reveal video as well, because he's at home against Brighton, and he's got another home game against Villa. The good thing about Salah is that he's good against whatever. He's a big game player, and he also likes to punish the minnows. And then he's got Southampton away, and then he can be moved on. And so for me, I'm a new Palmer owner, but I could move Palmer out after just 1 week to Salah, and keep Haaland, or I could move Haaland out. So that's my decision. One of Palmer and Haaland has to go. Saka's now gone for Palmer. So that's tough. But lots of that's my thoughts. Your thought is around Haaland as well. But it's getting through that mindset as well. I mean, Haaland had so many big chances. He's up against Bournemouth now. But I did notice in Areola's 2 matches against Man City as Bournemouth manager, Haaland has played twice and scored 0. Phil Foden, on the other hand, has scored twice in those 2 games. So it's very, very small sample, because we're talking the current manager of Bournemouth. So it's immaterial looking at whether Haaland scored a hat-trick against, I don't know, Gary O'Neill Bournemouth, which he didn't anyway, 4 years ago or something like that. So yeah, I'm starting, but it is a mindset to get rid of Haaland, isn't it?
It's really difficult. It's really difficult because you can look at it. You've built a case there for getting rid, but I'm just after watching the Man City highlights before we start recording, and I'm thinking how can I get rid of this guy? He could have had 4. you know,
Yeah.
and he should have had four. The chances he missed were incredible, and triple captainers were incredibly unlucky. You know, watching back those highlights, just Ramsdale
Yeah.
had a stormer,
Yeah.
and Haaland just had a bit of an off day. So I didn't even mention there that I could also get rid of Palmer. So
Yeah.
I've almost got too many options to get Salah. You know, Trent, Saka, Palmer, Haaland, they're all in the conversation to make way. So I feel like this is probably one of my trickiest game weeks of the season when it comes to transfers. But I am pretty sure I want to get Salah in.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just figuring out. And the Gabriel thing's a bit of a spanner as well because that didn't look great. And you know, as we don't have any information yet, but I'd a guess he's going to miss a couple of games and I'm already weak at the back. So again, that's another thing, another reason maybe for me to keep Trent rather than losing him and then not having my premium Gabriel
Yeah.
through injury. So yeah, everything's just pointing towards just get rid of Haaland because it's the easiest way to do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I mean, the other just to add with that with Palmer as well. He's got Leicester in game week 12, but before that, he's actually got the weakest of the fixtures out of City and Liverpool, because he has, and I'll come to why this is weak for him. Manchester United away and Arsenal home. So Arsenal at home, that's tough. That's the worst fixture for an attacker because they're good defence. But Manchester United, just an hour or two before we started recording, Ten Hag has been sacked. So Van Nistelrooy is in charge there, and we've seen it time and time again with the interim manager or a new manager. There is a bounce. The old manager goes, you suddenly see players perform better. You see the team being better. I don't know. You're a Manchester United fan, but my instinct with this is that Palmer against a Ten Hag Manchester United. Oh, okay, I'll take a goal or maybe two, but against a Ten Hag sacked Manchester United, I can at Old Trafford. I just
Yeah, you've actually broken that news to me.
oh sorry.
I was yeah, no, that's no, it's good news. It's okay. I'm quite happy with that. It's I've been busy watching match today while for the last hour or two, so I totally missed that news. But yeah, that changes things because I think that does make Cole Palmer's fixtures maybe a little bit more difficult now that Ten Hag's gone. And
Yeah.
I think myself, my initial reaction there is I'm quite excited about Van Nistelrooy and what he can do. So I think that might be all that the players need for
Yeah.
that bounce, which, as we know, very often comes. And I expect it now to come under
Okay.
Van Nistelrooy in these first couple of games. So yeah, it's another reason to maybe think about Palmer out at least. But I just don't think I'm going to do it. I think Palmer, in my mind, again, Palmer, Saka, because they're already in. I feel like it's just easier just to keep them. And again, I'm just talking myself into Haaland out because
Yeah.
it just makes life so much easier.
It does, and yeah, I mean, it's really tough. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is some Haaland replacements for if you want to free up some funds to move one of your midfielders because to Salah. And the important thing here is you could get any of them. I mean, you could even consider someone like Ollie Watkins as an enabler to get Salah in because you're shaving 6 million off. That's how expensive Haaland is, and that's what you're buying into. So here's a table of potential Haaland replacements. Haaland's at the top, so obviously he can't replace himself, but this is the benchmark, so he's the best. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 87.4 minutes, and how I rue those missed opportunities at Southampton. But he cost 15.4. No assists, 11 goals, 5 chances created, 26, a mammoth 26 shots on target. Minutes per baseline bonus every 11.5 minutes, which is not the best, but it's pretty good. Obviously started every match. He's guaranteed to start at the moment. But you've got other players here who are getting not as many goals, but returns, and they're third of the price. So first one, Visser, Brentford, 5.9. Back from injury, back with a bang, got huge returns. He's got 2 assists, 4 goals. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 96.9 minutes, which is only just behind Haaland. And Brentford's fixtures are strong. They got Fulham away, game week 10, Bournemouth at home, Everton, Leicester, for Aston Villa in game week 14. Are you tempted to get him instead of Haaland and use him as an enabler?
Yeah, so straight away just had a quick look at it there. If I lose Haaland and Brennan Johnson, to get Salah, I've got 9.6 for a
Oh,
forward. So anyone can come in, which
any
is
of these are
great. So
enablers.
it's
Yeah.
too much choice, which is the problem. But Wissa definitely right up there, probably top three, top five options for me to consider because the fixtures are there. The big one for me is Mbumo now has got to the point where he's that good that we're not going to benefit from him unless we captain him. So I always, when it gets to that stage with a player, that's when I start to look at a double up to actually gain from good fixtures for
Yeah.
Brentford. So Wissa again, just caught up in the highlights again, passed the eye test with flying colours. Could have had even more returns in that game. Looks great, looks hungry. Very much taken over from Ivan Toney now. And Thomas Frank's always talked him up the last couple of years. He's always had faith in Mbumo and Wissa to get them enough goals to be absolutely fine. And I think that is very much the case. So yeah, 5.9 looks at a really tasty price for Wissa.
Jackson for Chelsea is next. 7.9. Once again, an enabler. You can get Salah in by downgrading Haaland to Jackson. He's got 3 assists and 6 goals. That's 9 attacking returns, just 2 behind Haaland. And he's 7.9. He's half the price. Less than half the price of Haaland. And he's pretty much matching him for attacking returns. Created 10 chances, 12 shots on target. Yeah, he's good, but it's just, I guess it's the fixtures. Manchester United away, Arsenal at home don't scream great, but it's sort of game week 12, Leicester. That's when I'd be looking to him. I'm not averse to getting Jackson in. He could be just a good set and forget striker to get in. He's certainly in form.
He's just been fantastic. Again, I watched the Chelsea game on Sunday, and the assist for the Palmer goal that was ruled out, I think kind of sums up how much Jackson's improved. Really, just rolled the defender, got away, lovely way to pass for Palmer to score. Unfortunately, just offside. But again, I think it's also, if you go back to last season, I think it's 14 attacking returns in his last 14 appearances. So you don't get, much more consistent than that. He's keeping fantastic players like Nkunku and Joe Felix out of the team. So that shows you the faith the manager has in him as well. I don't really have that fear anymore about Jackson. Those guys breathing down his neck, because I think it's quite clear with his performances that he is first choice. It's going to be like that until there's a massive dip or a drop off. So, but again, it's probably just the fixtures that it doesn't feel like the right time. With a couple of tricky ones coming up. I think 3 of the next 4 are not easy. So again, it's probably a couple of weeks down the line before I'd look at Jackson.
Yeah, another player that's timing doesn't feel right is Watkins, an enabler, as it were, for get Salah in. You can remove Haaland for Watkins, 9.1. You can afford him. Minutes per expected goal on every 139 minutes. Actually, about 30 minutes behind Jackson. But nevertheless, Watkins, 2 assists, 5 goals, 7 attacking returns, created 7 chances, 7 shots on target. Sorry, I'll completely rephrase that. I was looking at another player. Watkins, 2 assists, 5 goals. That's 7 attacking. It's my stroke brain playing up again. Watkins, I'm going to read this for the 3rd time, and I'm going to get this right this time. Watkins, 2 assists, 5 goals. And he's created 8 chances. That's what I'm looking at there. And he's created 11 shots on target. He's strong, basically. Good stats.
Yeah, I really miss owning Ollie Watkins. I had him. I don't think I had him for 38 game weeks. I maybe had him for 36 game weeks. I fell into the Darwin trap once last season and went back to Watkins pretty quickly. Again, timing. I was having a look just there at the Villa fixtures. For November, it's really busy. There's 2 Champions League games in there. I think it's Bruges and Juventus, and a cup game this midweek as well. So it's just a busy time. And there's John Duran, and there's probably not going to be. There will be 90 minutes for Watkins, of course, but not in every game. So as much, it's tempting because I can. I've got 9.6 to spend on a forward. He's 9.1. Maybe just keep it simple. But again, that doesn't leave too much cash for other things. And Flecken is a big weakness in my team that I want to fix sooner rather than later. So I don't want to tie all my money up in Salah and Watkins. So I don't think it's going to be him either.
No, another one, timing is probably wrong here, is Isak. And this is some of the stats I accidentally read out just now. He has created 7 chances. He has 7 shots on target. Just 1 assist and 2 goals. Looks okay for Newcastle, but they were without Gordon, and it was against Chelsea. Next fixtures, though, Arsenal at home, then Nottingham Forest away. Nottingham Forest not easy. West Ham could be a bit tougher now. Crystal Palace and Liverpool up next. So it's not an ideal run of fixtures. So a skip at the moment, perhaps.
Yeah, and I think another reason I like Isak more when Anthony Gordon's fit. I think, if Gordon is going to miss a few more games, it's a big blow to their attack. And Newcastle just haven't really been firing this season either. And we can say that about Isak. A lot of us were there in game week 1 and we were disappointed. So again, I don't really want to spend 8.3 when I can get, better, better performing assets for about 2 million less.
Another next player, Solanke on the list. Minutes per expected goal on every 146 minutes. 1 assist and 2 goals, so not a lot across his 7 starts. Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Spurs. I mean I've got Johnson for a while. You've got Johnson now as well. He was the sort of flavour of the town, the talk of the town for the last couple of weeks, and now Spurs. I mean, because I'm neutral about Spurs, I recognise as an FPL manager, Spurs can go Spursy at any moment, and they can look like the most attacking team in the Premier League, and then they can just lose to Crystal Palace just like that. And so, yeah, I wouldn't want to invest in more Tottenham, and as you said, Johnson might even make way for you.
Yeah, it's Tottenham's Postecoglou's been there for a while now, but we still just never know what we're going to get. There's no real consistency, and it must be really frustrating as a Tottenham fan. Going up against the Crystal Palace team that have been so poor this season, and then not even getting a goal against them. So Solanke, I remember as soon as he signed, going into game week 1, people ripped up their teams and put him in, and it made a lot of sense. I didn't go there, and I was kind of very fearful of him for the first couple of game weeks. But 9 game weeks in, he's probably not justifying his price tag at the moment. That can change very quickly. But I'm getting questions this week about who's the priority to sell? Is it Calvert-Lewin? Is it Solanke? So if the people are putting them in the same sentence as Calvert-Lewin, it's the signs are not great.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it does make you think about Spurs because the narrative is that in game week 11, Tottenham have the best fixture at home to Ipswich. But I don't know. I mean, Ipswich came to Brighton, and Brighton are a better team than Ipswich, and they matched. I mean, not for want of trying, but their goalkeeper had a worldie. I don't think it's a given. It would certainly put me off captaining even Son that week.
Yeah, like I say, I'm on Johnson, and if anything, I'm going to get out of Spurs rather than double down on them at the moment. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm out in them just for now.
Yeah. Next player, Welbeck, brilliant, super. Well, he's superhuman since he joined Brighton. He's 5.9. Seemingly he had a trapped nerve or some kind of nerve condition in his back, but did train through the pain and played and scored. So he's had 6 goals and an assist with 7 attacking returns for 5.9. That's absolutely huge. 9 chances created, 11 shots on target. Started all 9. Pretty cemented up front. Ferguson will come on in his place, but it's Welbeck really. It's game week 12. We're all thinking, oh, we'll go for Brighton, but you never know. I mean, these are tough fixtures, but I mean, I guess Liverpool, Man City is going to be a hard sell. But just park that thought for game week 12, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. Welbeck as well. It's one of those where he feels like one of those players will get to game week 38 and he'll have mega points and loads of goals. And like, why did I never just own that guy? But
Yeah.
like, you'll always find a reason. And the first thing that comes to mind for me is Ferguson comes off the bench and scores a great goal. Joe Pedro's going to be back soon. Reuter's
Yeah.
performing well. There's loads of options there. And the little injury niggle obviously would be in the back of my mind there as well. So it feels like I'm hoping we've missed the boat and he does calm down soon. But I certainly wouldn't stop anyone from buying him because he's having a great season.
Havertz is next, 8.2 minutes per expected goal involvement every 153 minutes, 7 chances created, just 1 assist, but 4 goals. So not too bad. 10 shots on target. Now, the problem with Arsenal, they've got Newcastle away and Chelsea away next, and not ideal fixtures, but he's a player that may stay. I've got him, and he may stay. I'm Saka-less at the moment, so he may stay in my side throughout this. But yeah, I don't particularly like him in away games. But yeah, I think he would be a tough sell at the moment, but it's not until Nottingham Forest in game week 12 where he might be good.
Yeah, the more I look at this list, I look at players in the price bracket of Havertz, Solanke, Isak, and then I look at the guys that are 6 million and are absolutely flying. And I think I can just do a lot with the 2 million saving elsewhere in the team, especially if you want lots of premium midfielders. So, and again, when it's Newcastle away, Chelsea away, that's not when I'm going to buy Havertz. I've had my doubts about him as an FPL asset all season anyway. I haven't been there. So I'm not going to be going there at least until game week 12, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to move Havertz to Cunha, which is entirely possible. But a Nori in for Gabriel might be a better move if Gabriel is injured. But we'll talk about Gabriel replacements in a sec. Speaking of amazing players, this Chris Wood is on the list. But before we get to him, Avin Ilson, who was benched surprisingly, but he's 5.9. He's got 3 attacking returns. Created 5 chances, 6 shots on target. That was a concern because he wasn't, injured, I don't think. But that was a concern because I thought he was absolutely nailed on up front with Bournemouth.
Yeah, Unal got the start, and Unal's got a good reputation as well. So again, it just puts me off. I think the same happened with Delap this week. It's just one benching, and I'm not interested anymore. I want security, especially as we get into this busier spell. So good to see Evan Nielsen scoring again. Great header to get the equaliser. But again, if there's any chance he's going to be on the bench, I don't want to go there.
Next player, Chris Wood, 7 goals, amazing, 6.4. Once again, the mindset of getting rid of Haaland, there's also a mindset of getting Chris Wood into a side because he's always played for pretty unfashionable sides. He just a tall bloke from New Zealand. No one wants him, but he's so prolific over the years. And I think it's only Haaland has scored more than him. I was certainly on this list. Yeah, I mean, he's in my team. He's going nowhere. I'm quite happy to bench him in tough fixtures, but yeah, I mean, come on, now's the time. Surely you get Chris Wood in.
Yeah, I think the short answer is yes. It's I tweeted a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. It's Chris Wood's season, and I've retweeted it every time he scored. And again, I don't want to just kick myself in a month's time and think, why did I just not? You've got a gift horse. Is that what they say? Staring you right in the face. Why not just get him? He's got a little niggle, so as long as that clears up, I look a little bit further ahead. In 3 game weeks' time, it's Arsenal, and then in 5 game weeks' time, it's Man City. But if you forget about that, West Ham home is good, Newcastle at home is good, and Ipswich at home is very good.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting towards the bottom of this list, but now is where I'm interested. I think it's going to be a shootout between Chris Wood and a Wolves forward to replace Haaland. So that tells you I'm going to end up with probably 3 or 4 million in the bank.
Yeah.
So book a few holidays with the Haaland savings.
Well, the next 2 players on the list, last 2, are the Wolves players. Cunha, who came in with a surprise 9-pointer against Brighton at the death, created 15 chances, scored 4 goals, no assists, 10 shots on target. Minutes per baseline bonus is by far the best here at 6.4. And he has started 8 games. Yeah, I mean, if he's fit, he'll start. If he's not suspended, he'll start. He would be my absolute top choice, but I might not be able to get him. If I go down the Haaland route of removing Haaland for Salah, Cunha's my top choice. I already have Chris Wood, so Cunha would be my choice. And that Brighton game underlined that. He's just going to get returns. Strand Larsen, let's mention him as well. He's 5.5. He's if you haven't got enough money. But if you're selling Haaland, you've got enough money. And he's 306 minutes per expected goal involved, much fewer. But 3 goals and an assist. So he's getting strong returns for a 5.5 play. But Cunha, I think, is worth the extra million there.
Yeah, I keep changing my mind on whether he is worth the 1 million extra or not, and I think he is. I think there's just more avenues to points. He's I know he's playing the wing a lot of the time. He's getting involved. He's dropping deeper, but to me, I just love him as a footballer. I think he's absolutely fantastic, and to me, he's more involved. He'll get more touches. Are we right in saying he might be on penalties as well? I don't know if Wolves have had a penalty for a while.
I think he is. Yes, I mean Wolves fans do leave comments below if he's not, but I'm pretty certain he is.
He's definitely in the running. So I think Cunha I like more than Strand Larsen. But do I like Cunha more than Chris Wood? Now there's a question for you. I know you already have Chris Wood and you're going to be biased probably in your answer. If you had neither this week, would you buy Chris Wood or Cunha?
I'd be tempted.
Tough one, isn't it?
I'd be tempted by Cunha because the fixtures, because you want to try and get the player that you definitely want. In your case, I would say Cunha because I think your third attacker is the bloke I can't remember from Wolves who's 4.5 or something, the 4.5 striker. In my case, my weakest attacker is Morgan Rogers.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Semenyo, Morgan Rogers, and Chris Wood, and I can rest one of them. I have to rest one of them. In fact, I have rested Chris Wood and missed his goal against Chelsea. So for me, and those others whose weakest attacker so far is Morgan Rogers, I would be happy with Chris Wood because you can bench him for the Arsenal and the City games in 12 and 14. For those like you who've already got a really weak eighth attacker, you can't mess around. You just get the guy that's got good fixtures from now until Boxing Day, and that's Kuna.
Yeah. Strong argument. And again, it's got me thinking that, again, if you free up 15.4 million by selling Haaland, another thing I can do, let's say I ended up on Chris Wood this week, which is fine for the next two, and then he's got Arsenal. But in the meantime, before that, I could use my 3 or 4 million cash saving and turn my 4.5 million forward into someone else. So then Rodgers is no longer my seventh attacker, he's then my eighth attacker.
Yeah.
And then I'm much better set up
Yeah.
for the busier Christmas period. So again, another tick in the box for selling Haaland because my bench is weak. And I like the 3-5-2 formation, but it doesn't really make sense to have a dud 4.5 forward. You know, I think it's limited in a way. Like in your case, I'm quite jealous that you can just bench Chris Wood in his tough fixtures, whereas I need to address my bench to be able to do that. So again, I think that would be a sensible thing for me to do over the next couple of game weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I've just been thinking about, say for example, you know, so for those who are looking to get rid of Haaland for Salah, presumably they would be captaining Salah at home against Brighton. I just think he's the best captain. I would do that. So if I didn't get rid of Haaland, he would still be in my team. So say his effective ownership is 140%. So still I'm 40% of Haaland's points go against me, or 140 go against me if I don't have him. But it's his replacements. Do I think Kuna is going to match Haaland at home to Crystal Palace? I think so. I do think so. It's just the effective ownership that I'd be worried of. I think Kuno is a really strong, even a captaincy shout in some weeks. And so I think Haaland to a Chris Wood or Kuna, you're still getting goals. You're still getting the prospect of occasional goals, I should say, because that's what Haaland's only giving us at the moment. And you can bump up one of your midfielders. You know, you can really bump up a 4.5, I think, can you, to Salah with the savings?
Yeah, I probably could. I haven't looked at that, but I could, if I had a 4-5 midfielder, I could do that.
Yeah.
Again, another thing, just before we move away from the forwards, what really stands out to me here, and I've kind of been keeping an eye on it all season. Another thing I like about Cunha is the chances created. I love a forward who offers you assist potential as well.
Yeah.
And he's top of this list with 15. He takes a couple of corners in most games. Now I know a lot of them they could be short corners. I haven't looked into them in too much detail, but again, he's involved in so much for Wolves. And he got a bit fortunate with the finish against Brighton, but I think that was heading towards the bottom corner, and the deflection took it over the goalkeeper. Cunha, I think, will be the answer, but I know I'll probably regret not getting Chris Wood.
Yep. Okay, let's move on to defenders. So this is a move I may make. If I just decide to get Salah via Palmer, I would free up a bit of money by downgrading Gabriel if he is truly injured. And I have 8 Nori myself in mind. Because he's got really strong attacking threats. So I've consulted my attacking defenders table. I call this the Gabriel replacements. And I've sorted this by shots inside the box. So this is close range efforts. These are the sort of, we've seen how good set pieces are. I quite like this shots inside the box for this type of player. To see who it is. So it's whenever we saw it with Virgil van Dijk. We've seen it with the Brentford centre-backs as well. So I quite like this. But we've also included chances created, clean sheets, and whether they take corners, that type of thing as well. So Gabriel is top of this. Shots inside the box, 11. He's had created a couple of chances. He's got 3 clean sheets. Minutes per baseline bonus is 6.6. Basically, the minutes per baseline bonus is strong for all of these. But he's the top, where the next ones are Romero at Tottenham, 10 shots inside the box. not sure of the accuracy there, but with Teta at Fulham as well, he's got 10. So they are strong candidates, but I don't think you would be interested in either of them. So I might just go to the next one.
Yeah, just skip them because Romero, if a team don't keep clean sheets, I'm not interested in, and that probably goes for Fulham as well. So yeah, I think we can skip those two.
Yeah. Okay. So Collins at Brentford. It's a team that doesn't keep clean sheets, but Collins and Pinnock, who are both on this list. Collins got 9 shots inside the box, Pinnock with 7. They're both getting on the score sheet. Brentford are clearly the reason I put the shots inside the box, which isn't a great metric usually, but I think it is in this case because it shows who the rest of the teammates, those taking corners, are aiming at. So Gabriel, why have we got him in our team? Because every time Saka takes a corner, he's aiming at Gabriel's head. Why is we considering these Brentford full centre backs? Because every time they have a set piece, they're aiming at their heads. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these two. Brentford's fixtures are still pretty good.
As a Flecken owner, I highly recommend staying well
Okay,
away
fair
from
enough.
Brentford defenders. But at least with those, comparing the defenders to Flecken, at least they give you the goal threat. And Collins and Pinnock have always been decent, in the opposition penalty area. I probably prefer Pinnock slightly. Just seems more of a presence in the box. But yeah, it's hard to have faith in these guys when they're not keeping. They're conceding quite a few goals. So.
Guardiola is next from City. So this is just a pretty straight swap, really. You can probably afford this, depending on when you got Gabriel Guardiola is now 6.2. He's had 9 shots inside the box. He's won 9 fouls as well, which is pretty strong. He's created 9 chances. He's got 2 goals already, which is the same as Gabriel. He has a couple of clean sheets. I mean, I don't think he's like. If you've got no other worries, you don't need to free up money, anything like that. You just want to get a good player in. Perhaps you don't have Rico Lewis. He's just a really good attacking defender.
Yeah, luxury move. If you can do it, great. I would love to be able to do that move. And if I lose Erling Haaland, that means I've got an extra Man City spot. I've already got Rico Lewis, but I would actually be open to getting both. Double City defense +1 just feels good when clean sheets are hard to come by. Lewis is very attacking. We know Gvardiol's great in the final third as well. So the Gvardiol-Lewis double up, I think, is very attractive. If I was wildcarding this week, for example, I'd probably look at that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would. I'm going to do a wildcard video this week, and I may well do that. Eight Nori is next on the list. He was the one. He would be my top choice. He's only 4.5. He'll go up probably 0.1, I imagine, this week. Shots inside the box 8, very strong. Fouls 1, 5, good. 3 goals, the most of any player on this list. He's created 11 chances, started every match. He's taken a couple of corners as well, and he's got 2 assists. So 2 assists, 5 attacking returns. Collins, I mentioned, has got 3 assists. So Collins, with his 4 attacking returns, is second only to Eight Nori with his 5 attacking returns here. Very, very strong. I think if you want to remove Gabriel, and especially if you want to free up a little bit of money to move a Saka or Palmer onto Salah, Eight Nori's your man. And I'm so tempted by this. I'm going to agonise about it in my team reveal video.
Yeah, again, I do think Eight Nuri is the best choice in this price bracket. If you don't have Lewis yet, I still really like Rico Lewis, but there's probably a case to be made that Eight Nuri might even be a better pick now with the fixtures.
Yes.
What I like about Eight Nuri is he is a left back who does not want to be a left back. As soon as Wolves are in possession, he's gone. He's heading for the box. I was again watching him very closely the weekend, and he was doing it. 3 goals already. I think it's 3 in his last 4, which is insane for a defender. 3 goals, I think it was last season as well. So it's not a flash in the pan. There's probably going to be more attacking returns to come from Eight Nuri. And yeah, we've been talking about Wolves all season that when we get to game week 9, 10, 11, we're going to want them. And Eight Nuri in particular. So, like I said earlier, my initial plan before any games were played at the weekend was I was looking at Trent to Eight Nuri, Saka to Salah. So, I think anyone who is looking to free up money from their defence, whether it is Trent or Gabriel, if they need to sell, Eight Nuri's the one to go for. I really like Leif Davis as well, but I think the weekend kind of just summed him up. He gets an assist and he gets a 2-pointer because they just concede too many goals. So, I think it's definitely Eight Nuri if you're looking for a 4-5.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to next week. So we've got some idea of what you're thinking of. Gabriel could go. You need to get Salah. Haaland could go. You do have a multitude of other options though. So do you want to just run through your team and perhaps what you're thinking now after our chat?
Yeah, there's a lot going on this week for sure. So at the moment, the team looks like Flecken in goal, Trent at home to Brighton, Gabriel if he's fit, Rico Lewis, midfield five, Saka, Palmer, Bumo, Johnson, and Rodgers. Haaland up front with Calvert-Lewin, and then only Mikalenko as a bench option. So the
Mm-hmm.
bench is definitely an area of concern going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Initial plan of losing Trent and Saka, I don't like it as much now because Saka's back, Saka
Mm-hmm.
scored, Saka's fantastic, long-term
Mm-hmm.
pick. So when he's in, he's probably going to stay in. I, the more I look at it, the more we talk. Haaland out for 15 million
Mm-hmm.
opens up so many doors, and it almost takes a pressure off in a way
Mm-hmm.
of relying so heavily on him to deliver, and not just deliver more than one
Mm-hmm.
goal per game. So Haaland out for a cheap striker allows me to get rid of Johnson, who I've been disappointed with. His underlying numbers are good, and I think it's fine to keep him.
Mm.
But if I can turn Johnson into Salah to give me Salah, Saka, Palmer, Mbumo, Rodgers, that feels like a midfield five that could serve me for a
Mm.
long time.
Yeah.
And it also frees up 3 or 4 million quid, which fixes Flecken later, it fixes Calvert-Lewin later, and also probably turns Rodgers into an eighth attacker by selling Chiwomi
Yeah. Yeah.
at some point as well. So it sounds good.
Yeah, that looks good. It's removing Haaland. It's a very difficult thing to do, but I do keep thinking, if his replacements are Chris Wood or Cunha, will they do well? Will they deliver? And I think they will. I think that does fix that. Also, I do think with your midfield there. So yes, I mean Haaland's effective ownership whenever he scores, that's going to cut your rank there. But having Salah, Saka, and Palmer, I think will be the norm to go for in the future because, say for example, game week 12, Haaland's got Tottenham, which is actually quite a good fixture, but he's got Liverpool away, and then Nottingham Forest, which I don't think is a good fixture for Haaland. And I think I think then is the time, but also now you could get in early there, and hope that Bournemouth and Brighton both do well against Haaland.
Yeah, I think it feels like because I'm already 352 and I saved the
Yeah,
transfer, I can definitely get to the Salah, Saka, Palmer trio with Bumo and Rodgers, which I think is probably the ideal five that a lot of people are
yeah,
going to end up on long term. I can probably get there a week or two maybe before some other people, but again, of course, I need Haaland
yeah.
to not go too crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's players, managers that have gone without Haaland all season or sort of dipped in and out. But I do think that those who have gone without him have won so far this season because they've taken that bold move. And I mean, one of the reasons I triple captained him against Southampton, and I have no regrets about that because that was on paper, and as it transpired, we're hugely unlucky not to get a big haul for that one. But nevertheless, it was me as a dullard, boring manager. You have to take a risk like that, and it sort of didn't really pay off. But I'm a veteran of Mane's 1 pointer in a triple captain week, so for me that's a success. Getting 18 points from your triple captain. So you have to take those moves. So managers like us, I think you have to make a bold move. I think that is the only way to win this season because of the
Yeah, and
pricing.
I think me and you are a good example. We've played this game for way too long, and myself and yourself probably struggle more than maybe newer managers do to sell the
Yeah,
likes of
yeah,
Haaland
yeah.
because Haaland is our kind of player and our kind of perma captain. So it does take a lot to get rid of him. But we've said it all along. Palmer, Saka, Salah, three unbelievable
Yeah.
FPL assets this season. We can't have everyone.
No.
You know, why not have all the cheaper ones when they're performing just as well?
I think I mean, it would. Haaland could get a hat trick away to Bournemouth. Of course he can. But will Salah do well against Brighton as a captain? And I don't feel confident captaining Haaland anymore. I mean, one goal against Southampton. That on the back of a lot of other blanks. He could have scored four though, but
Yeah.
coulda, woulda, shoulda. I want
And
I
I mean,
want like a
a
Palmer.
Haaland,
A definite.
yeah,
Salah, a definite going to score.
a Haaland brace or a Haaland hat trick as a non-owner. it doesn't guarantee a red arrow either,
No.
because you've got a lot of other good assets. Yes, it's going to be harder to get one, of course, if he does bang, but your money is spread, and it just feels like there's less pressure on each of your picks then, because at 15.4, most of us got him at 15. As we seen that 3 week spell where he didn't
Yeah.
deliver, it was pain, 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 and it was, more than likely three red arrows. So
Yeah.
yeah, we said it quite a few times on the show. It's a great season.
Yeah.
The prices are good, and
It
it
is.
makes for really interesting and difficult decisions.
It's good because it's making managers like us think a little bit differently about they play. I don't think I've thought differently about how I play for about 5 years,
Yeah.
so that's a good thing. Definitely. Mark, thanks so much for joining me. Good luck with the game. Good luck with your decision. Good luck those listening and watching. Do leave some comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know what you're doing. Are you going to get rid of Haaland, or is it a case of absolutely no way he's staying? And yes, and also comment on any of our defensive options that we were talking about as well. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care. See you soon.